Welcome back to Fab Finds. If you haven't already watched our first and previous video, click over here. It'll tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Now, in today's Fab Find, we're going to be reviewing the iPad 12.9-inch 2021 model featuring the Apple M1 chip. Personally, I've been waiting a while to get myself an iPad. Firstly, it's because of the Apple Pencil support. Secondly, I wanted something that was very, very far superior. And this was it. I've had an iPad once in 2011 and an iPad mini. I think the first one was the iPad 2. And they were great at the time, but they're not the iPad Pro with the M1 chip. Regarding the iPad, I chose the wireless cellular model, 5G support. This is because I've got an iPhone X, which is about 4 years old now, and the battery's not that great. If I go out and tether it or hotspot it, it kind of just lasts a few hours and then it's gone. Whereas I'd like the mobility freedom that I would have with this iPad and the cellular data. Since I like drawing and making logos as well, I got the Apple Pencil 2nd generation. This is good as well because it just attaches magnetically to the iPad and charges at the same time. So no need for extra cables. For someone like me, this is perfect. Next is the Apple Smart Folio. I like to have my iPad on a desk or just carry it around with me sometimes, and I don't want the extra weight of the Magic Keyboard. So the iPad Smart Folio was just a thing. I got it in this nice, gorgeous, deep navy color, and I think it's just going to suit with my moods. Next up, we got the Magic Keyboard. I had been waiting for something like this for a very long time. When I first got my first iPad in 2017, I think it was, I said, why don't they have something that can attach to the iPad and you can still type and maybe use a mouse? Back then the gestures weren't available, but hey, they did think about it eventually. Now for the showstopper. Yes, the 12.9-inch iPad Pro featuring the M1 chip. This is something I've been dying for a very long time. And finally today, I'm going to be showing it to you. Now for the star of the show. Let's unbox this thing. Apple's packaging is always so nice. And this is going to be the first time I touch the iPad. Wow. That smell of new technology is just amazing. Let's see if I can lift it without taking it off. There we go. Look how thin it is. It's just so light as well. It's fantastic. One thing I wasn't sure about when they first announced the edges was bringing back that iPhone 5 type look, but after my wife got her iPhone 12, definitely the right move. And this does not disappoint. Let's see. So we've got the iPad, and I'm going to keep the plastic casing for there for a little bit. Typical booklets. Who knows? I never read that stuff. I'm surprised there's no stickers in here. We've got the, I think this is a super fast charging brick, and obviously the USB-C cable. Pretty much it. Wow. Even the sound of that plastic is amazing, like no other. And there it is. I've just put my fingerprints on it, but it looks very, very nice in the space gray. So 256 gig. You got the cameras over there, the power on the top, the volume on the side. You got the connectors over here, the SIM holder. You've got the 2 of the 4 speakers and the charging port. Then let's have a look. The other connector down the bottom as well. The other 2 speakers on top. It's gorgeous. Microphones, camera. It is just fantastic. And I can't wait to turn it on. I've drawn on quite a few tablet PCs, Wacom tablets, and older iPad models. And to be frank, the iPad Pro 2021 model is definitely the leader when it comes to the accuracy, responsiveness, and control features. Any excuse to pick up the 2nd generation Apple Pencil to write or draw with is good enough for me. One thing I did notice, however, is that the feel of the pencil on the glass needs a little getting used to for me. It sometimes feels a little rubbery to me. What I resorted to was using Paperlike. No, this video is not sponsored by them, nor anyone else as a matter of fact. However, the addition of Paperlike Screen Protector makes it that much more realistic. I had never used Paperlike prior to this version of the iPad. I'm very impressed at how natural it feels to draw with or write, making the iPad Pro experience even better. Again, this is just my personal opinion. Shop around and see if you like it for yourselves. Okay, so with the setup out of the way, I began tapping through the apps and features that I already knew best from other iOS devices. Many of the apps I use on my iPhone are even better on the iPad Pro. Calendar entries are easy to create and modify. Email in both the Mail app as well as Outlook are very well designed, and there is so much detail that you don't always notice on these smaller mobile screens. While the games, although I don't really play games much these days, are immersive. It is still disappointing that some apps are not designed to work on the iPad just as well, such as Instagram or even Snapchat, and that they resort to magnification to run the app slightly bigger than the default resolution. It would be nice to see the developers take advantage of the amazing larger screen and resolution that the iPads have to offer, although I can understand that it is most likely because of the original content being shot on a mobile device, and perhaps the content would not be as good quality ultimately. It will be interesting to see if this will ever become a thing, though for the time being, I'm not holding my breath. If you do want to see some amazing content by some amazing artists, I recommend checking out the Unsplash app from the App Store. You may have heard of the website. The app makes browsing the content so much more appealing and takes advantage of the iPad's larger screen size. The details of the photos are just amazing. For some of the technical aspects, the M1 chip is indeed far superior than any other tablet or PC I have used in the past. The Geekbench scored like many other scores I have seen around, and comparing to my MacBook Air 2020 model, my MacBook Pro 2018 model, and the iPhone 12, the iPad Pro is a serious contender and beats most by far. A few things that I had noticed as areas of concern are that my emails through Gmail do not auto-update on the iPad. This is through the native Mail app. Although the settings are identical to those on my iPhone, the emails do not always seem to fetch, and I need to resort to refreshing my inbox a few times to have new content to display. The center left of the iPad overheats quite easily. I think this is where the battery is located. I'm not quite sure yet, but even leaving some apps on idle, such as Procreate, cause it to start heating up. I started to notice this while I was drawing in Procreate and decided to take a quick break. And with the iPad display still on, it would overheat. Playing videos on YouTube and other content also makes this part of the iPad overheat. Another thing I noticed, which is quite disappointing, is that when using the front-facing camera in lower lighting conditions, the camera resolution is quite poor. Although center stage follows me with no issues, the detail is often poor. The marketing around this, obviously, has nothing of this nature and does not mention the lower lighting conditions. I've had people complain to me that they think I'm using a lower resolution device. When I tell them it is the M1 iPad Pro, they're quite shocked, especially considering the price tag. The rear camera, on the other hand, is quite good quality. Having an iPhone 12 in the family and comparing the two, I'm really enjoying the quality of the photos and videos. I'm thinking of shooting a whole video to test its capacity. One of the apps I have purchased, yet to try, is LumaFusion. I have not used Final Cut Pro for about 14 years, so I definitely will be comparing the iOS LumaFusion app with Adobe Premiere on my MacBook Pro and see how my new video production skills compare. Since recording the initial parts of this video, I have also noticed some degradation in low light conditions using the higher quality rear camera. I still intend to create a full video using the iPad Pro and test how far the cameras can be utilized for good quality content. All in all, despite those not so positive experiences, I have grown to love this device for virtually everything I do. As a web developer, I managed to develop a great deal of my code utilizing apps for that space. I manage all aspects of my business such as banking, client files, and communication, and also use it for desktop publishing as well as research. I even manage to unwind with the occasional game with my son and entertainment for my daughter. Keeping in touch with family and friends is also preferred on the iPad Pro, especially when at home, making great use of center stage. My personal thoughts are that if you have the budget for it, I highly recommend using this as a daily driver of productivity, communication, and overall connectivity. I'm still to obtain a cellular connection to test the bandwidth and speeds. However, that will hopefully come in the next few months. I hope you enjoyed this first video, and please feel free to leave any comments on what you saw in this video, or for any tech and gadgets you'd like to see in upcoming videos. For now, ciao from Fabio at Fab Finds.